And ready to.
Sweet. Okay. Hit the go live.
Where you at? You used to work on DynamoDB, right?
Not for the company. No, I did not.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
I've
your book said something about that. My bad.
No, I'm a data hero, and I had Rick Houlihan open. He wrote the forward for it, so he used to work for Dynamo.
Okay, that makes sense.
There we go.
Let's see. Did you put the tweet out yet?
I just did, yeah, and I tagged you in it. Let's see. I'm gonna make sure we're live. We are live. Look at that. We even got some people watching. So, okay, I'm new to StreamYard. Hey, Kirk is on. Hey, Kirk. So yeah, once you're sort of like ready to roll, I think they will have you sort of start off and introduce us to the problem you're having that we're trying to solve, and go from there.
All right, sick. Also a heads up, just to make things a little more complicated, my mouse does random double clicking whenever it feels like it. So
Nice.
just lots of
just great.
random shit falling apart for me.
Yep, cool.
Oh, and you're streaming on YouTube, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I want to pull up the chat just in case.
It's also, can you see the comments over on the right or not?
Yeah, when people say things.
Like in StreamYard, can you see those?
Oh, in StreamYard, no. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, I do see it. Okay.
I can just stick so that should do that there, and you can have it in YouTube either way, whatever's like less distracting for you.
Yeah. No, this is better.
Cool. So, hey everyone, thanks for joining. I'll give like just a little background on who we are, and then I'll let Nick maybe tell about the problem. So,
yes,
Nick the Jesus, he's working on Black Tech Pipeline, which is a cool site to help basically connect employers and Black Tech employees and be a job connection site there and make that work out. And he's adding a lot of cool functionality there to help employers do some searching for potential candidates. So he's working on that. He's a CTO of that and just well known in the community. He has the used shopping cart hook as well. I believe got sponsored by, was it Stripe or was it GitHub or both? Stripe
is sponsoring it. Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah. So congrats to that, doing the open source work and everything.
Thank you.
So yeah, and I'm Alex. I do a lot of work with DynamoDB or with the DynamoDB book, and I'm an AWS data hero. And so Nick and I follow each other on Twitter. Saw him asking some questions about Dynamo, Pagination, AppSync, GraphQL, all that stuff yesterday, and thought it might be useful for the community to sort of work through some of those things and see how we talk about it. So that's what we're doing today. Yeah, feel free to drop questions in the chat, but otherwise we're just gonna be sort of working through what Nick's got going on here. So maybe Nick, if you want to give us some background on your application and what you're running.
Yeah. So basically, the big idea, and I think, so basically we have a pool of Black technologists that are looking for jobs, and we have clients, which are employers that want to hire. And what we're doing is we're giving the employers access to this database, but we're keeping the candidates anonymous. So it's like you can't see the names, you can't find much information that would help you identify them or get an idea of like, things that could be affected by bias or anything, right? And so I want to say like I have two different experiences. If you're a candidate, you sign up, you submit like your work information, you upload a resume, you fill out some things that you've done in the past, and what kind of work you're looking for. Just important information that you as an employer might want to see before trying to engage with someone for hiring them. So that side is actually taken care of, and I have to say I'm kind of proud of myself. Everyone says that it takes them about 5 minutes to fill out the whole form, which I'm like, wow, that blows my mind.
Did you custom build a form page for that, or are you using like Typeform, or what's that intake look like?
I probably should have used Typeform.
I don't know.
Like I used I'm using React hook form.
Okay.
And I'm also, yeah, actually that's really the only thing I'm doing for forms.
Yeah.
And so like all the form code is a giant mess because I've never done something so complicated.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just regular forms. I'm using Theme UI for the component library.
Nice.
And stuff like that. So yeah,
I would say like, I use Typeform for different things, but that's because I don't have like a website. But like if you embed it into, or like if you like link them out to a Typeform, it does look super janky. So, actually building in yours so it like fits with the theme of the site, looks a lot better for that sort of thing. Looks more professional.
I heard a lot of startups actually use third-party form things because I have to admit, so I'm using AWS Amplify. And I feel like all of the important essential backend things were a breeze to set up. Like you just set up the GraphQL schema, and then it spits out your backend. You have all your API completely generated and stuff. And so that was quick. But then I spent most of the time working on forms.
Yeah.
Forms and tables. It's like the worst parts of web development.
It's true. It's
and
so
emails
true.
and HTML email as well. So it's like all the worst things in one project.
I totally agree.
But I'm very happy with it. The only thing is now, so me personally, and I think I'm very new to this space. The issue I'm having right now is around so the searching aspect, right? Like again, we want the employers to be able to search the candidates. I was thinking that it would make sense to have pagination, and from the research that I've been doing, it kind of feels like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like GraphQL is not really equipped for like the traditional pagination flow where, you count how many pages are available and you kind of index them based on that. And so I have been trying to do really weird, hacky stuff to work around it, which is why we're here right now.
Yeah, sure. And when you say like traditional pagination, you're saying like the first page which has 10, and you can go like the next page which has 10, or you can go to like page 30 that has 10, and you're now at like numbers 300 to 310, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess like a little bit of background before we start. Like there are two types of like pagination schemes generally, and what you're talking about is like offset based pagination, where it's like, hey, we're going to get all the records, we're going to order them in a particular way, maybe by the candidate's years of experience, or alphabetically, or just when they were added to the system or whatever. We'll order them that some way. And then we'll do an offset based on like where we want to start. Hey, do we want to start on page 20, which is maybe candidate number 200 or something like that, and then go from there. The sort of downside about offset-based pagination is, depending on how things work, you either need sequential identifiers on those IDs, or you need to like gather all the records, order them in your particular way first, and then skip to the one, which is like a lot of extra work.
Yeah.
The way Dynamo does pagination, and a lot of other systems do this too, is called like cursor-based pagination, where your records are already ordered in some way, and you have a way to say like, to skip quickly to like a particular record. So you can't say skip to the 40th record, but like in a dictionary, you could say, hey, go directly to elephant in the dictionary. And it's like pretty quick for you to go to elephant. Whereas like, it's super hard for you to go to the dictionary and be like, find the 1,345th word in the dictionary, right? Because you'd have to start counting from the beginning. So that's sort of what Dynamo is doing this cursor-based pagination, token-based pagination, where you're going to a specific record without knowing how many are before it or after it or something like that. But you lose like the ability to say, hey, go to the 20th page. Each page has 10 in there.
And to be honest, I think that makes sense, right? Because this is anonymous data. Like the candidates are anonymous. No employer is going to go through this database and say like, I want this specific person, right? So it actually sounds ideal to have that kind of experience. But I can't, what I have set up, it's just not working out. Like I'm definitely messing things up. Like I've got like some of the candidates are duplicated when you search. And then also I'm only searching on the front end. So I'm doing searching through JavaScript on the through React Table, which React Table is really good, by the way. But ideally, I would love to give the clients a way to submit filters against the data that's there, so that they're just, you know, querying the backend for very specific stuff.
Yeah.
So those are the things that like are important to me right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So on that second point, that's like a little tricky with DynamoDB to have a lot of different filters, each of which can be optional. You know, you can imagine like years of experience, location, skills, different stuff like that. And, you know, maybe an employer comes and does like 2 of those, but not the other. It's a little tricky to do that in Dynamo because Dynamo really wants like known access patterns where you're like going to have required fields and stuff in there. So a little tricky there, but not impossible. What you would probably want to do is maybe overfetch a little bit. So depending on how selective your queries would be, like maybe if you're looking to send back 10 candidates, maybe you could gather 50 candidates, read 50 back from Dynamo, and then filter out the ones that don't matter to you before sending it back, or you know, applying those filters, something like that. It depends a little bit on your needs, and some of that might be outside the scope of like basic pagination stuff today because it's like fairly complex, but we could talk about that a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think like maybe if people could maybe submit 1 or 2 things,
okay,
you know, as far as the filter, I don't want it to get too complicated.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want, we could kind of take a look right now.
Yeah, let's do it. You want me to put your code up?
Yes.
Cool.
So actually, I'm gonna go to the actual live website.
Okay.
And we're gonna look at some live data. The data set I have for testing is super small.
Yeah.
But basically, and you know, this is an MVP. There's a lot to be done as far as styling and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
Show mercy on me.
No, yeah. Gotta get the data right first, and then
yeah.
Good. Yep.
But basically, this is what it looks like when you know, the employer is scrolling through, and this interface right here is from React Table.
Okay.
And it only looks like this. I didn't set it up to work well with a big monitor, but that's why all that padding's at the bottom.
Sure, yeah.
But you could see the ID is anonymous, pretty shoes refuse.
Okay.
And then these are the skills that people might be interested in searching. So like an employer might want to look for someone that has JavaScript and I don't know, AWS skills. I didn't do a drop down for the skills, which like a lot of people were like, you should probably have a drop down. But I feel like there's just too many.
Yeah.
There's too many options. I'd rather just leave it open and see what happens, you know?
Yep. I agree.
So this is again, like front end filter, which I don't think is necessarily bad. You know?
Yeah, I don't think so either. Honestly, I recommend a lot of people, like you're saying, with that heavy filtering, if you can just like pull in a bunch of records and then let people responsively filter on the front end, like that can work for a lot of situations pretty well. And it's faster feedback, right? Like say if I put something in here, a skill that like not that many people have, or maybe I say I want 14 years of experience and you find out, hey, not that many people have that. Like maybe I should dial it back down to like 7 or 8 or something.
Right.
Yeah. So absolutely.
Yeah. So let's say like you're looking at Mighty Otter's Punch, and you think that they'd be a great fit. Like they have the skills that you're looking for. They're in a location you want. They got 5 years of experience. You want to see more. Oh, it's probably not a good example. But here, I'll click on Pretty Shoes Refuse again. Yep. So you can see their tasks and responsibilities. You know that space in your resume where you say like the company you work for and the things you did for them?
Yep.
So this is what this is supposed to be, except you're excluding the company names because we don't want you to be identifiable.
Okay.
So this person has done a lot of work, you know, educated the public, such as civic groups, whatever. They implemented a newsletter. This person looks great. Also, with the skills on this page, you get to see the amount of years they have of experience they have per skill.
Yep.
And then you can see the role types.
And this is a real person, or is this like fake data?
This is a real person. This is a real person we're looking at right now.
So if you're watching this and you love this skill set, make sure you email Nick about Pretty Shoes Refuse. And,
let's talk.
Yeah.
These are the types of roles that they are interested in, or they're open to, I should say. So, you know, backend, product management, sales, this person's done a lot, so they're probably comfortable in all these lanes.
Yeah.
And then you can also say if you're looking to be a manager or an individual contributor.
Yeah.
And then there's also detail on, like, you know, if you want to be full-time, contract, part-time, whatever.
Yeah.
And so let's say, like, you're like, okay, this person, I would love to know who they are and engage them. This is where you hit the introduce us button. And I have actually paid CTO. So these are these are roles that you have to set up. I can show you the roles page real quick, but
Cool.
These are roles that you set up so that you can send them to the candidates.
Gotcha.
So, like, this person, I think they'd be a good fit for either software engineer or UX designer.
Yeah.
And then from there you hit submit, which I'm not going to do because this is real.
So
this is where you set the roles up. You can see actually paid CTO.
Yeah.
And you can create your roles and stuff like that.
And that's going to be custom to my company. Like if I'm a client
exactly.
Okay.
So I could, I'll just so we could actually see what happens. We're gonna, I got the server spun up. So I'm gonna send one of these roles. I'm gonna send senior architect, and senior. Oh, there's like a whole bunch of the same thing. I'm gonna send senior data analyst and senior architect. I hit submit. We're gonna go into my personal email now. Because I am the client and I'm the candidate and the employer.
There we go.
I'm gonna hit. So this, I demoed this just before we got on the call, so that's why it looks like that. But
yeah,
it says this is like my little LLC that I have through Stripe. But let's say that you worked at Amazon or something. It would say, "Hey Nick, Amazon thinks you'd be a great fit for the following roles. Here's the roles that I submitted."
Yeah.
And then here's a button where it's like, are you interested in meeting them? You can say yes or no. If you hit yes, I have to make a page for this. But if you hit yes, the employer will get an email saying a candidate has accepted your introduction request. Their name is Nick. Here's click here to see their resume. I just uploaded a picture of Stripe's logo.
Nice. Yep.
And then you take it from there. And so there's kind of a drop off here. Like we ask that, you know, we get updated by both the candidates, from the candidates or the employers on the progress.
Yeah.
So I'm really hype about this.
Like, I love it. It looks good. I love it.
Yeah. We're streamlining the entire communication process. Like you're not just, it doesn't feel like harassment to get the emails and whatever. And you could say no without feeling guilty because, you know, recruiters like to guilt people into jobs or something these days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I like the connection aspect of it. Like a little blind date, right? Like
yeah.
A little bit of the stuff, but not, all the stuff.
I used to get mad. You know, people were saying, so this is like Tinder for jobs. And I used to get mad about that, but you know, it kind of low key that is the case.
Yeah. Nice. I love it. So let's walk me through the pagination stuff. So that's like when we're showing these people, you want to be able to paginate, and like when do you want to add more pages and things like that?
Yeah. So right now, so it looks like the pagination is working, because it does to an extent, but again, there's duplicates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What I was trying to do, all I'm using initially right here is what's it called? I'm using the generated query that you get from the GraphQL schema.
Okay.
So if you go to, you know, I made this candidate model right here.
Yeah.
And employers have the ability to read, and then, you know, CodeGen creates the GraphQL query for you.
Yep. Okay.
What I wanted to do, so let me ask this, because I did want that traditional pagination feel where you can select page 20 or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am no longer interested in that, right? Like that just doesn't make sense for this anymore,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
But what I was gonna attempt to do, which is very much over engineered, I was gonna create a custom query that called this Lambda.
Sure.
And it's a horrible name, paginate candidate list. It should still just be like get the list or whatever.
I think it works. Right. I think being even long and explicit, it's clear what it's going to. It's going to paginate candidate list. So I think that's good.
Yeah, that was the intention.
Yeah.
So what's happening is I'm going to oh, that's mock data. I'm going to the Lambda, and this is where I am querying for I'm querying DynamoDB. Oh, this is the other thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So the problem with the generated code is that it gives you all the data. And what I need to do is, because obviously I would only show a certain amount of data, but if an employer wanted to, they can open up the network tab and see the full amount of data, and they'll get the identities and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a big reason why I'm doing this. I wanted a custom query as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we have to protect their information that way. So that's why this projection expression is as big as it is. It's okay. I don't want everything. I just want these specific attributes.
And so those are the ones you do want. You've already decided on those ones. Okay.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so the issue I've been having actually is that AppSync is expecting a list to be returned. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, it's not coming back as a list. On CloudWatch, everything looks totally fine. Okay. Like the data I'm expecting is coming back the way I want it to.
Yep. And do you have the logs for that we can maybe poke around and see?
Yeah. I am going to pull them up real quick. Oh, I have a Stream Deck. Look at this. I'm going to hit a little button and CloudWatch pops right up.
No way. That's amazing.
I mapped my Stream Deck to point to most of the AWS docs I need.
Oh, that's a good one.
So yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of what I'm trying to do has been kind of over engineered, but I've been doing like a lot of exploring,
That's great. Yep.
And learning. This one, I think recently I messed around with it. Let me click on the earlier ones. Errors not defined. Nope. There's got to be one in the middle that worked.
Okay, let's see. Do you remember which day it was? Because some of those are from the 18th, which would have been like 4 days ago, or is it the 20th, which was Monday?
I think they were working.
There we go. Got some records. Yeah. Right.
Which right?
That one right there.
Okay. Yeah. Oh no.
Okay, no, that's a stream one.
Yeah. So let me try the 20th again. I think I clicked on the middle one. It's supposed to say items.
Okay.
Let me click on this one. No.
You can even go to search log group over the top right.
Search
that orange button and try items there.
There we go. I did not know about that. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, if you go in that filter events box, you can type in items and it'll filter down.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. Expand one of those guys.
There we go.
Yeah.
So this has all the information. This was when I was first trying to do it. This is before I used projection expression.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that was from the 15th.
Yeah. But I did I see why at first it was saying it was expecting list. It was getting an object here.
Yeah.
And I tried switching to items.
Result.items. Yeah. Okay.
But that didn't work out. However, I think I want to take a step back. I might not need, because you linked me 2 documents yesterday,
Yeah.
and all of this could be possible overkill. Like I don't need to trigger a Lambda to, like, would you recommend that I go directly to DynamoDB through a Lambda, or should I stick to doing things through AppSync?
It depends on you. I mean, it would still be it
It's still
depends.
Dynamo, yeah, I know.
Yeah, like it. So the other option is to use VTL to go like AppSync directly to Dynamo, like you're saying there, and it's like a little bit of a funky language, I would say. So some
Yeah,
people don't like that
I
and
don't.
prefer the Lambda. So I think it's either way, whichever one works. Like if you already have this set up and configured and you like it, I wouldn't say you have to switch away from it. So it depends. I used to be like kind of against VTL. I'm like slowly coming around on it somewhat, but
Really?
it's still like is tricky for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a few VTL things before, and I did not enjoy it.
Yeah. 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 It's very counterintuitive, I would say. I was
Yeah.
surprised at some of the behavior on some of that stuff. But yeah, that would be an option. Okay, so let's so if you invoke is that list function currently working, or I guess how is your front end getting populated?
Yeah, so for the sake of this demo, I did switch it to the old thing that was working.
Okay.
So let me show you what happens when I hit up Paginate. Wait, where is it? Oh. So I have this. This is the old query, and this is the one that does get the data. But this is a custom query. I basically copy and pasted the one that was generated, and then that's how I got it to show only like the anonymous data.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I would much rather have a function literally named like anonymous candidate data. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm looking at Lambda resolvers real quick because I don't even know what the format needs to be on it. The one thing is, I think
so I'm just to let you know, I am sending back. I'm querying with paginate candidate list.
Okay.
And let's see what happens. Like I haven't checked on it. Yeah, so nothing comes back this way.
Yeah. Okay. And is that function running locally, or is that running like actually on Lambda in the cloud right now? That your local host is hitting.
Yeah, it's happening on the cloud. Like it should pop up. CloudWatch said there was only 21. It said that there was 21 last time. I mean 20 last time. It should say 21. Yeah, it just went through.
Okay.
It just got logged. Let me see real quick. US text. Yeah, so I don't even see the data at all now.
Yeah.
I used to be able to.
So I think a little bit of it is how you're responding on the response. I don't know if there are any AppSync folks in here. Do I need to actually use the callback method in my Lambda function for a response? Data.
Yeah, this was I think I copied and pasted this from there's like a cheat sheet by Nader Dabbit.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's possible that right there where you're returning like the status code and the body, that's how you'd do it if API gateway was going directly to your Lambda function. But since this is going through AppSync, which is then like calling out as resolver, I don't think you need status code or body. I think you might just need data. So body might be data instead. I'm trying to look that up for the actual syntax.
Would it hurt if I The data under body, or do I need to get rid of it?
Yeah, I think it's just that. Hold on.
I'm just gonna comment it out. I think yeah, and I'm gonna go
and comment out status code as well. Okay, so save that and try and deploy that up and see if that helps us.
Actually, I'm gonna go directly to the Lambda itself.
Okay.
Oh, let me leave that there. Amplify. It kind of takes a while when you do it through the when you deploy through the CLI.
Yeah. Okay.
Here it's like instant. Copy. Deploy. Okay. Let's see. I am going to search again.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, errors. Yeah. So expected type list.
Okay.
But let's check CloudWatch. That has always been the case. CloudWatch should have at least given me the data. So 22. View as text. Oh yeah, I'm not getting anything back at all.
Wait, so that is, gotcha. That's the result. Okay.
Yeah.
Go back to your code real quick. Let's take a look at that.
Oh
wait, list commits. Maybe console.log out that result there.
Yeah.
And just see if we're getting anything.
Look at that, GitHub Copilot.
Wow. Is that what that is?
That's what that is.
I've never used it, but I've heard people talk about it. That's amazing.
It heard you.
That is truly incredible. Yeah, I do that I have to type that out all the time. So
yeah. A lot of coding with writing code with GitHub Copilot is like you just type the first couple letters and just hit tab.
That is incredible. I saw today that you have to. They're charging now for it, or they're going to start charging.
Yeah, it's a very controversial topic.
Yeah,
because they are using data from open source.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
They're using data from open source and charging for it, and they let us all play with it for free for a long time, to the point where some companies are completely relying on it now, right?
Yeah.
My thing is, I'm not sure about the morals of it, but I feel like it's what we do anyway on our own.
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference between me going and Googling and finding other open source code and copying and pasting that shit?
It's true.
It's just speeding that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
oh, man, that is weird though that they're charging for it now.
Yeah, it is
elsewhere. Yeah.
I think they probably could have done a better job preparing us for that. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't remember seeing in any language that, like, hey, we're eventually going to charge you for this, but this is what we're doing for now.
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Same error, but let's go see that log message to see what we are getting in our results.
Yeah. Oh, that I got something. So wait. Yeah, so I am getting my results back.
Yeah. Okay.
But the results, for some reason, the results aren't actually getting returned from the Lambda?
Yeah, like somewhere between AppSync and Lambda, they're getting. Do you have logging turned on for your AppSync? Like, if you go back to CloudWatch.
Oh yeah. I think I have it on for specific functions. So let me go.
Here, go back to CloudWatch actually, and if you go back to log groups, try that top one. See if that's.
Oh, I think that's something.
That's a different one. Okay.
Yeah. I don't even know what that is.
Okay.
So you want to look at the log specifically?
Well, I want to sort of see like, because basically AppSync is calling out to your Lambda function. We're running that stuff. We're sending some stuff back. And then somewhere between there, like AppSync and sending back to us, it's like, there's something funky here. And I want to see if we can get an error out of that. So maybe go to AppSync console there. That you have. You have that tab open. Oh, yeah. No.
Oh, oops.
No, you're good. And then, okay, find whichever one you're working on. Copy. Go to settings or monitoring. I'm not sure. One of those two. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. There you go. Enable logs.
Oh.
Not extra. A little higher at the top of the page. There you go. And then maybe do error. And then hit also include verbose content there. We'll have to turn this off later because sometimes it gets expensive.
Yeah.
Now scroll down to the bottom and hit save.
Okay.
Okay. Now try again, hitting that function. Like go to your dashboard. There you go. Trigger an error. Okay. Now go back to CloudWatch. Refresh this page. Put a new one in there.
Oh, no. Oops.
There we go. It's I think it's the second one. That one.
Yeah.
One. Yeah. Try that. Booyah. Okay. So pop those suckers open. So that's your incoming query.
Uh-huh.
That's some stuff. I don't know what all that stuff is.
Yeah, what is this?
Okay, let's go back to AppSync console. That fourth tab you have open. And change our logging configuration. Keep going down. So where we said error, let's do like all. There we go. We'll just spit out everything.
Yep.
All right. Now trigger that. Okay. This is like 90% of working with serverless stuff on AWS is just like understanding the interaction between like something's broken, CloudWatch, like what happened here, and yeah.
I definitely it's not popping up.
Sometimes it takes a sec. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel like 90% of me building this platform was straight up troubleshooting between forms, the tables. Like it's wild.
And just like eventually you get some muscle memory there and you get better at it, but it takes a while to figure that out.
100%.
Okay, so let's scroll down. Okay, stop here. Wait, what's that? What's that say? Request mapping. Okay, we're good there. I think you can keep going down. Response mapping. Wait, okay, context. Data. There's all our data.
Field name. Okay.
No, but if you look a little like where it says context is the key and then result and then data, like all that indented stuff, there's our users or our candidates that are coming back.
Yeah. And this is saying that it's specifically coming back from the function that we created. Like,
yeah. All right. So scroll down a little bit more. Let's see where it's not getting translated to something that we want to after mapping here.
It's still there.
That's still fine.
Is this one of those things where like I forgot a return method or a return somewhere or
right? Okay. And what it is just like, man, I'm not exactly 100% sure what the Lambda response format needs to look like, and that's like all we're messing with here.
I feel like I've done this before. I mean, like when you look at when you use you could pop up a hello world example.
Yeah.
And through the Amplify CLI, and it just shows you like a real basic like return statement or something.
Oh, does it?
Oh, actually, let's just run through that real quick because maybe that would give me the guardrails I need.
Yeah.
Have you used Amplify?
I haven't used Amplify. I've used AppSync, and I know a little bit about Amplify. But
so
it's been a little while. Yeah.
Right now, I'm typing amplify add function.
Oh, perfect.
And so it asks you if you want to create a Lambda layer or just a normal serverless function. Let's give it a name, testing stuff, and hit enter. You could choose between Python, Java, whatever. And then you can, these are different types of like templates. Like if you wanted to interact with DynamoDB in your Lambda, if you select this, it will then ask you which table you want to pull from, and it'll manage all of your permissions and all of that automatically.
Yep. Okay.
So I'm going to do hello world example just because it's basically nothing. And I'll just say yes for this one. Yeah, so this is as basic as the example can possibly be. A Lambda could be, and it's returning in the body.
Do you have? Yeah, this is slightly different though. This is like for an API gateway one, which is like if we weren't using AppSync.
Oh,
so AppSync is like the GraphQL thing.
Yeah.
Using under the scenes. If you were, this is so what we need to figure out is like where it's translating from one to the other, and I think that might be in the request.
Mud Jones brings up something. Maybe it's returning something different than what's on the schema.
Yes, sir. That is probably correct. I wonder if, where did you configure your paginate candidate list function in AppSync? Is there any like configuration related to that anywhere?
Probably have to go directly to AppSync.
Yeah, let's check that out.
Because I did try querying directly from AppSync a while ago.
Okay.
And that just wasn't working out.
Go to data sources maybe on that left. And that one. Yeah, click that one.
Do I click this?
I'm not sure. Hit edit, see what that does.
I think I gotta click.
Yeah, go back to schema actually. Click on schema on the left. And then find on the left hand, the result, or the right hand, sorry, the resolvers. Type in paginate candidate. Might have to be lowercase p. Wait, where is it? Go to query, go find query, I guess. I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. Okay, so click that and click that. Yeah, there you go. Okay, and now pop open that response mapping template. There's like the little arrow. A little higher. There you go, that one.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
VTL.
Yeah, this is, you can't get away from all of it.
Yeah.
What about that after mapping template below?
You said after?
What's that? Yeah. Okay, that's because it's a pipeline. Here we got Richard. He's on the AppSync team. He's helping us out here. So yeah, we're basically, Richard, what we're getting here, and I can actually send you a link to this stream if you want to jump in, Richard. Let me get that real quick. What we're getting is like, we're returning a result from his Lambda function, but then, and it should be a list, I think, but then somehow AppSync GraphQL is saying in the interim, like, hey, this is the wrong type. It's not a list. So I think we have a little bit of a, hold on, I'm gonna find you on.
Hey, what's up, Anthony? What's going on, man? Hey, weren't you at Render? I didn't even catch you there.
There we go. Get some folks hanging. All right, Richard's gonna jump on and school us here on this part.
Sick. I'm like 100% sure it's like a return thing.
Yep.
Damn, I missed you, Anthony. We gotta play some Tekken one of these days, though. Yeah, and it's like in the data that we're getting back, I noticed that when I use the when I use the generated queries that return a list,
Yeah.
there's like a whole there's like a whole bunch of different entities involved. Like there's like model candidate input or something. Like here, I think if I just go to AppSync. So like if I do, oh no, not here. Schema list. Oh, I mean, yeah, even here, model introduction request condition input.
Oh yeah.
Everything where you're querying a list, it has like extra parts to it. It's not as simple as
here we go. Here's Richard on. So I think what that's doing is like that's input. If you wanted to filter on that list, you could put it in as GraphQL input, use it in your resolver to filter out items and return.
Yeah.
Richard, thanks for joining.
Hey, what's up, Richard?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Can you hear me? I'm not sure if I did this thing right.
Yep.
I can hear you just fine.
I'm not sure how long you've been here, but basically what's going on is Nick's got he's got a Lambda function that you want to show him the Lambda function code there. And
not that one.
Okay, so they're on line 172. He's like getting a batch of records from Dynamo. He's using a scan there. He gets that back, and then he's trying to just return that list and passing it back on line 182. Is the data is result.items. So he's passing back a list of items. We can verify that he's passing back a list of items, but then somewhere in the coercion within AppSync directly, I think we just don't have quite the right response format or something. And I haven't worked as much with like direct Lambda resolvers. So.
And so what do you get a VTL error when you run the GraphQL query from the AppSync console? Is that the idea?
Yeah, or like in his dashboard. Let's see. Here's the.
So the error I'm getting is it's expecting a list, but I think that's just because it's coming back as null.
Well, let's take this out of the equation and the debugging, and let's go to the AppSync console. Like I'll walk you through how I troubleshoot these, just like kind of blindly, maybe just process of elimination.
There we go.
So go to queries first. Let's start. Well, let me actually see first what you're running before I start there. Go to the schema tab.
Oh yeah.
And let me see the in the right hand side. Can you type query? Okay, which one of these is it running?
This one right here, paginate candidate list.
Okay, so you're running a pipeline resolver. I will say the easiest way to prove that your code works first is to make this a unit resolver first. Is usually what I do on a lot of these. Like technically, if it's just a simple thing, a pipeline shouldn't matter that much. But we might later pull that out of there. But can you click on the pipeline itself really quick?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Like I'm using Amplify, and I'm not sure if I don't know what a unit resolver is or like how to make one.
Okay, sure. Yeah, the reason you're using V2, which we moved everything over to pipeline resolvers to give a little bit more flexibility and all of these in the V2 GraphQL transformer. Actually, I'll show you just conceptually before we dig into the code details. If you want to just understand the theory behind this.
Sure.
If you open up in another tab and just type AWS AppSync documentation. Yeah, and just go to the second link down there, of the main link. Go back. Yeah, see it. Keep going down where it says AWS AppSync documentation there.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, and then click on Developer Guide. And can you expand on the left-hand side, the navigation bar? Yeah, and it should be under, if you expand a resolver mapping template reference. It's a last collapsible one from the bottom. Yeah, and the overview one, the top one. See the resolver mapping template? Yeah, so this is and there's a little diagram here if you scroll down a little bit, and I'll just talk you through it. Yeah, so when we first released AppSync, our first implementation back in the day, 2017, was when a GraphQL AST is parsed and you execute a resolver on a field, we have a request and a response template that runs, and this is effectively what you do is you coerce that type into the data structure that's appropriate for that data source, like a DynamoDB table or something else. Execute your data source operation, which could be a Lambda function or a DynamoDB function or something like that, right? And then you convert it back. And then the kind of generic method of this, that as we, really where this came from, there's an old article you can find on like Medium or something from me back in 2017 or 2018, where people were trying to do like authorization routines inside of these things, right? Like, I want to only allow my list of friends to have access to this sort of thing. So how do you do that, right? You first query another table, get some data back, do your jazz on it, and then you execute your data, fetching or operation. If I had it to do over again, I probably would never introduce the unit ones, but there, we don't, AWS doesn't break customers. So the more generic thing is the pipeline resolvers ones. This is just conceptually what we do by default now on everything. It's just the kind of, you could think of it as a special case of what we do. By the way, just for this documentation page, the other good thing to know about this before we dump back into the console, you asked about like getting more familiar with VTL code and stuff. That programming guide on the left, the next link down, is something to read about in your spare time. The template programming guide up above that.
Oh, right here. Yeah,
I actually wrote this one a few years ago, and it basically walks you through all of the nuance in the language of like creating maps and lists and for loops and stuff like this.
Oh, nice.
So, you could just kind of walk through this. It's classic programming tutorial of setting variables and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
I found it super useful recently. The one thing that like really threw me off about VTL is I can have an operation that, like, if I'm adding something to a map or something, it prints something out that ends up in the template, which I thought was super weird. And I have to do like the
QR quiet reference,
quiet or whatever. Yeah. That was the weirdest thing for me.
That's the thing about the language. Like, so we get these like kind of like you get these super low latencies, right? Single digit or even lower, that you get those benefits compared to like running compute. But the trade-off there is like there are some ergonomics that are bad. Yeah, I know this. There's no switch statements and stuff. But the mental model, what's actually happening is it's executing to convert to a statement, which then gets passed to your data source, not running the operation against your data source. That's the thing to keep in mind. So if you like have this bug, it prints out the text because that's what it's rendering at the end because it's a template. But sometimes that helps with troubleshooting. We might actually see this here because I do this sometimes. I'll just make an error on purpose just to print out, see what's coming back from my data source. So it does help sometimes. Okay, cool. Let's pop back over into the console there. Let's go to the AppSync console itself. I think you have it open on one of the other tabs, actually, still back in the, here we go.
Oh yeah, this one.
I think it was this one, yeah. Okay, so you've got just this one function. Your before mapping template and after are probably empty if it's default amplify. So we're popping the field name and field info into there. So that's not really going to matter here for this operation, I don't think. Let's look at your request and response template. Yeah, okay. So basically, what we're doing here is we're creating an invoke operation against Lambda, stashing all of these things into a map. Did you create this yourself?
So I ran a command amplify add function, and I hit enter a bunch of times, and all of this just gets spit out. I'm not sure how familiar you are with how Amplify does things, but it's sort of an abstraction over the.
Oh yeah, I'm well familiar. Yeah.
He's like the PM on it, or or higher than that even. I think like director of product or something. Yeah, so he knows this stuff. Actually, I think. Hold on, Nick. I think he might have added it in his schema. If you go back to your code and pull up your GraphQL schema, your VS Code. There you go.
Yeah.
And then pull up your schema. Show us at like the bottom where you added your GraphQL schema file. There you go. I think it was that right there that generated it.
So I think
bottom couple lines. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking that it was possible that this might have been overkill I wasn't sure if there was a way to do what I was trying to do without needing to use the at function directive. I'm more or less asking, like, is this how you would have approached doing this kind of thing?
And you're just trying to create a function that you can invoke and do whatever you want in it, basically.
Yeah, more or less. And I want to return the data that I'm getting from scanning in DynamoDB.
Okay. Yeah, that's at function. Yeah, I mean, all we're basically doing is provisioning for the environment name. So what actually happens in the GraphQL transformer here when this runs is it executes on your system and walks the GraphQL AST. It actually uses GraphQL JS as a dependency, so it's literally executing code. And when it walks onto that specific field, the resolvers themselves locally on your box are invoking CDK code and basically generating CloudFormation that provisions this in the backend. So it's doing the same thing. The one thing that I'm unsure of here, depending on your workflow, if you go back into your AppSync console on what it provisioned there, you should actually have, what bothers me there is, can you click on that invoke paginate candidate list function Lambda data source, the link at the top?
Just change it to
operation invoke and payload. Okay, that's correct. Okay, so this is invoking your Lambda then. All right. Yeah. And you have seen the Lambda. It's just on the response when it comes back is the problem, right?
Yeah, so I think it's some mismatch between the response mapping template and what we're actually sending.
Yeah, and I can already see here, I believe what you're doing here in the problem that you've got is in your util to JSON context result. That's only going to return a single item, whereas I think you're returning a list of items from your Lambda function. So we probably need a couple of pieces to massage this, but I want to prove it to myself first before I jump to that conclusion. So in another tab, can you go to the queries tab on the console there that you have open, and let's sign in with your Cognito user pool username?
I'm logged in. That shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So you want me to make the query?
Yeah, let's run the query. Yeah.
So I'll just say city.
Okay. Yeah, this is what you've got. Expected a type list on that field. Yeah, and you're coming back with some null value. Okay, so go back. Let me show you. This is let's debug this and make sure. Let's make sure that your issue is actually in the type you're responding with data and it's coming back. So if we go back on the other tab to the mapping template, I think it's to the one to the left. Yeah, and let's scroll down here and go into the response here. You see where it's got the util to JSON context result? Let's comment that out. So two pounds in front at the front of this. And just put instead underneath that $ context.result. So let's see what's coming back. Yeah, so save this. It's at the top, yeah. And let's run this query again, once or twice. There we go, okay. Oh. So is this your data, right? This is your data from your Lambda function?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually.
So you can see that now let's it's funny, I'll say what I did on a training session a few weeks ago. Let's not be scared of errors and red stuff, right? This is actually giving us information. So what's happening in the machine, right? So you have a schema, which is your admission control to your system. You've clearly gone through that by giving it the correct format on the request side. It hit your data source. It pulled some data back. Now it's trying to coerce that response into the appropriate types that your API needs. And if we look at this on what it's responding with, it's actually giving you an object called data that is an array, right? This preferred contact and everything else here. That's not matching your schema type. Right. So we need to basically make our response template match this as a list, which what you probably want if we go back looking at your, go into your AppSync console there. The other tab that we were in a second ago. Yeah. So I think actually by default, we come back from DynamoDB with something like context result.items. So I think this might be
this isn't coming. This is coming back from a Lambda function, not from Dynamo directly.
Okay, yeah. So I think you've got it named like .data or something like that. So I think what you might be able to do from eyeballing this, if we go into the console, the other tab, can we go see the message back? Yeah. So I think you've got data, and then the rest is a list. So you might be able to do util.json, your context.result.data. Let's try that.
So at line 5, just add .data after result and then uncomment.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry, my mouse is double clicking today. I don't know why.
Love it.
Oh, wait, don't I have to hit edit or something? No.
No, I don't think so.
This doesn't look the same.
Yeah,
like...
yeah. Click on the data source. You're in the immutable view right now because you're in the resolver showing all of them. Yeah.
Oh.
There we go. So .data, thank you. So .data right here.
Outside of that, move that parens from to the end. So go back one more. There you go. .data, and then take out or uncomment that line, and take out line 6. There you go. Perfect.
Okay. So I am. Oh, let me go to AppSync. Oh shit.
There we go.
Got it. Wow. Okay. Wow. I learned a lot. So hold on. Shouldn't this be possible through Amplify without having to update with VTL?
It should be, but I don't know the beginning of how your workflow was. I think we should figure out your workflow and your use case and open a GitHub issue so that my team can track it. I actually see all these coming in, Nick, by the way. I work as an engineer across both the AppSync and Amplify teams.
Oh, sick.
So if you like, once we work out what you're trying to build here at the end, if we maybe could do like a steps to reproduction or like ideal ask workflow, we can see if it's either a gap or a bug or something that we need to improve on our side.
I'm guessing like if you go back to your Lambda function that we had here, this one. Okay. So should we be returning like right now, if you look at lines 174 to 183, we've sort of monkeyed with it a little bit, but should we be returning just the list directly, like returning result.items and then taking out .data in our mapping template?
Yeah, it's kind of I mean, it depends on where you want to do that.
Gotcha. But if we were using like sort of if we were using the default Amplify mapping templates, because I'm guessing like Nick doesn't want to mess with like the mapping templates and like the default ones would be fine. And I think one thing we were unclear on is just like, what is the shape expected from our Lambda function so that it goes back into the mapping template and gets spit out through GraphQL?
Yeah, that's good feedback. Yeah, so I mean, I can give you the shape of what AppSync as a server or as a service requires. How do I do this? Do I put in this StreamYard a link?
Yeah, you can. Type in the right link because this will be good for other folks as well. This will be it'll hang out in the YouTube comments for posterity.
So I don't know how. Sorry, I put it in the StreamYard
in the private chat.
Oh, private chat. Okay.
I just pulled it up on my screen though.
Nice. Okay.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, this tutorial actually shows you how you would build this by hand. And we have a stack in here that gives you some of the structure. But if you actually on the left-hand side there go under resolver mapping template reference, and you'll see resolver mapping template reference for Lambda. This is the actual from a service API structure. So that's this. I'll pop that link in here as well.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
These are the ones I was using before. Though, like the feedback I would have is, first of all, on this Lambda resolvers tutorial, the Lambda function signature it has is like sort of an older one. It's using the callback syntax, which I don't see a ton of anymore in Lambda functions. So that was confusing to me. Does that make sense?
You're looking for more async await on these Lambdas?
Or like even before async, I feel like there was a time between async and callbacks, right? Or did we have to do callbacks? I can't remember. I just haven't seen the callback syntax in like a long time. So then I was like, oh, do I need to do something different? And I just like wasn't sure about the shape we need to get back, and that was sort of throwing us off.
Yeah, that's fair. I remember when we wrote this. This is an original Lambda function from 2017 where we just use the default global exports with a callback. We can update this. That's fair. I can give that feedback to the team today.
And then the second stop how we got to like using that data key in there. If you look at the resolver mapping template reference for Lambda, the very last example, direct Lambda resolvers had like a object that had data as the key for like what you're actually returning. I think we weren't doing a direct Lambda resolver since we did have VTL. We just like didn't know about it. Is that right? Does that make sense?
So I think there's a couple of things at play. There's one on the AppSync ones that we can update a little bit of that specific structure. And then I think probably what Nick is looking for is from the full stack standpoint in generating apps with Amplify. If I go over to the Amplify docs, and this should be under I think it's called custom business logic Lambda function. And then he did the @ function. This is my guess is what Nick was trying to say. All right, let me throw @ function on here. How might I manipulate this to give me back proper lists and everything? And we do structure of the function event. But yeah, it's lacking on if I wanted to give back an individual item versus a list of items effectively and building this out. Okay. I'll pop these through to a few places. We have the stream of this event too, right?
I think like, because when I tried, from what I learned through Amplify, what was intuitive to me was creating a custom query this way and then making like a different type with less data than what from the original type, and trying to query like that. But I guess that doesn't really make sense because I don't even know how that it would know to reference candidate data.
So when you go to the function route like this, right? It's kind of like you're saying like this is an escape hatch. It's up to you to do these. Like I think my biggest question would be, is there a reason why, like from your top level use case what you were trying to build, were you trying to do this for a reason because with the standard data modeling of using like @index or @primary key or belongs to or many to many weren't working for you for your entity modeling?
Yeah, so what I was doing at first, which was working, I literally copied and pasted the generated GraphQL query and put it in a folder called custom queries, and then I removed the values I wanted from there, that I wanted to exclude from there. And for me, I wanted something that would allow me to, well, I guess after having some discussion with Alex about this too, like I wanted to do something where the users can filter through the interface, like the clients, they'd be searching for these candidates and they would put certain things they want to filter against. And I did kind of want the ideal pagination experience. Both of those things, after like today, I decided I'm probably not going to do those things anymore, which is fine for my use case, to be honest.
Were you trying to paginate with aggregates, I'm guessing? Maybe
I was trying to do all kinds of stuff. Like this has been a journey for me, to be honest. So I think the other piece too is that I kind of wanted my query to be explicitly named. Something like, like anonymous candidate list or something like that, which I guess I still, with the copied and pasted query I could have just renamed it there like that. But I wanted to more or less know like the real way I should have gone about these kinds of things, or should I have just stuck to whatever was working? You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me answer a couple of ways. So it sounds like you're saying two things. One is you were trying to do some data modeling for queries with naming them different ways. That stuff you actually should be able to use in the default GraphQL transform. Like specifically what you're talking about there is a parameter called query field inside of the Amplify GraphQL transform. And that will allow you to do a custom query field. I'm sure you've seen these docs, but it's here. Yes, that should name the field properly. Yes.
Okay.
Now I think the second one though is I hate to do this, but I'm gonna answer in a roadmap way question, which is, it sounds like what you're trying to do is paginate over DynamoDB queries, and you know, as Alex knows, this is a tricky thing to do in NoSQL for many reasons.
Right.
That being said, there is actually solutions to do this. It's more nuanced problem than most people really think, because usually the standard answer is, oh, well, every time you do a write, you shuttle off a record or two over to another table and you calculate aggregates over there. And on the surface, that actually works a little bit. The problem with that is what most people actually want to do, which I'm guessing you do, Nick, for your use cases, you want to paginate over the result set that you've computed from a query, not the total counts on an entire table. The way to do that in Dynamo is, well, so the way, if you research databases in general, what they usually do is, like an RDBMS, when, you know, there's some optimization strategies, sure, but high level, what they do is they kind of whittle down using algebraic predicates their result sets that they're going to pull in for like running the filters first, and then they pull these down into doing a projection of your final result set of like what you're doing a count over or something like this, or a min or a max, and then that projection is your end up like what you paginate of like total number of pages that you go over.
Mm-hmm.
You can do this in Dynamo in a couple of steps, but it takes some machinery. So what, if you've ever looked at like the AWS SDKs, you'll actually see like if you use the JavaScript SDK, you can do like a query operation, and then the property on that is called select. Okay, so you'll see a select on there.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to paginate over your result set with the select, and then for that specific, with those specific parameters that you pass into a query, that's how you get your count. So usually the workflow is like, all right, I'm going to write data into Dynamo. I could either calculate this paginated result set, the min and the max, or like the total counts and stuff. I can do that one of two ways. I can do that on my writes, or I could do it on demand on my reads. Now, most customers' databases, or in general, right, most people's databases are not write heavy, they're read heavy, right? So you usually want to offload that in a different way that it fits into your workflow pattern. So this is all to say, like, it's possible to do these things. Most people don't, though, because of all this machinery I just outlined.
Yeah.
That being said, I actually have some prototypes of these things, and we are actually working on this in Amplify.
Awesome.
Hopefully we can get something this year around these lines, you know, and show some things, but it is a bit tricky to do. Okay,
cool. Yeah, I think for me, like, first of all, I just want to say thank you to both of you. I do have to go soon. But I just wanted to say, like, I learned so much. But for me to like, I'm very happy with like what I've gone through to try to figure out the pagination stuff, because, you know, I did end up learning a lot more about like DynamoDB and how people kind of handle these things, the strategies and stuff in general. So I think like from here, I'm happy with what I have. I just need to like make it render now.
Yeah. Good.
Cool.
Nice. Thanks, Richard, for hopping on. And Nick, sorry we didn't get to any of the actual pagination stuff that we wanted to do. Can we do one thing before we jump off? I want to turn off logging, just because.
Oh yeah, because that could cost me money.
Yeah, I told you to turn it on, and I don't want to leave it on without.
Yeah.
Settings. Yeah.
Was that just like sitting in the back of your mind? Like
a little bit. I was like, should I DM him afterward? But then, like, I don't know, if he gets into a meeting, he might forget. I'm like, let's just do it right now and turn that maybe off. Okay.
Appreciate it.
So, Nick, thanks for setting this up and doing it. And yeah, apologize we didn't get to the actual pagination stuff, but you know, this was helpful to me to learn about how some of that Amplify stuff works with functions. Richard, thanks for coming on, and Nick, thanks for sharing your use case with us.
Yeah, thank you. This was clutch. Like, I needed this. like this week. So
Cool.
yeah, anytime I'm gonna be doing anything with DynamoDB, like I feel like I'm gonna come back to the stream.
hopefully, hopefully it doesn't go too far astray. But yeah, that was great. That was fun. So cool. Thanks everyone for watching, and yeah, hit us up with questions.
Take care, y'all.
See y'all.